locations.
The story here is set between Resident Evil 4 and 5. Joe and Parker are sent to check out the last known location of their fellow BSAA partners, Chris and Jessica, which just happens to be a creepy looking cruise ship. You come to find the ship is infested with gooey looking monsters, and that it was indeed a trap all along, set up by the terrorist group known as Veltro, who was also responsible for the Terra Grigia panic, which led to a whole city being wiped off the map, and who now plan to spread a new T-Abyss virus across the Earth's oceans. And after being captured by Veltro, you must escape the ship and survive against the horrifying creatures aboard, while of course stopping Veltro.
It's time you learned the truth, Miss Valentine.
The story was okay. It was interesting enough to keep me paying attention to what's going on. You will be going back and forth locations and time as certain characters helping everything come together in the end. Speaking of characters, we got the OGs, Jill and Chris in this one. Nothing has changed about them, and they're still the same old kick-ass characters. The rest of the cast is mainly new faces, such as Jill's partner, Parker, and the comedy duo of Keith and Quint. I have nothing really bad to say about these new characters. They fill their role just fine and never come off as awful or super annoying. Heck, they even have their own little moments. Also, this being a Resident Evil title, expect some corny dialogue here and there, but that's not a bad thing.
You don't normally join the fray.
Well, my doctor told me I need exercise.
Revelations is a survival horror third-person shooter. Just simply aim and shoot where you want to. It's actually a good idea to aim for specific parts on the monsters, since hitting the sweet spots can cripple them, letting you get some breathing room, or deliver a melee attack which you can charge for a more devastating attack. You will get a decent sized arsenal of machine guns, shotguns, and some more. The shooting feels just fine. You never feel like you're missing because of the controls. Though there will be times when you miss because some of these monsters are rather twitchy with their movements, giving you that tense feeling as they do get closer and closer. If you do end up getting cornered, there is a dodge maneuver you can pull off. It's a bit tough to do since you gotta time it just right, but it's helpful in the long run. What's pretty cool is that they actually redid the shooting interface from the 3DS version, so instead of a first-person view, it's a third-person, making for an overall better experience. I will say one of the things I wasn't a fan of was the character's movement and speed. Everyone just felt like they were moving pretty slow, and with no run button, it felt like forever sometimes to get somewhere. Hell, Resident Evil 1 characters moved faster. While I personally feel the game leans more towards the old ways of the Resident Evil formula of slow and steady, it does inject a good dose of high action gameplay of more recent Resident Evil titles without feeling disjointed. There is no co-op in the campaign, though there is an AI ally with you sometimes. I personally find this better as it was nice to explore the areas alone from time to time without someone on your back. Now when they are with you, they are good at giving support and aren't a hindrance since thankfully they can't die or get down, so you don't have to babysit them or give them items. While exploring the ship, you eventually run into these giant green boxes which stores all your guns you found so far, and most importantly, lets you customize them. Throughout the game, you will find gun parts, some more valuable than others, such as larger clips, more firepower, and so on. This gives you a good amount of freedom in your choice of weapons, and since none of the attachments are permanent, you can always switch out the parts. What's also great is that if you pick up a new gun while playing, it makes you drop one of the 3 you're allowed to carry. But that gun will just teleport to the chest with all the attachments on it, so it's stress-free. There's another gun in your arsenal, but it's not used for killing. Instead, it's used for scanning stuff. The gun puts you in a first-person view, just aim at the monster and scan it. You may be asking, what's the point? Well, reaching 100% each time in the scanner meter nets you a free herb pill if you're running low. Just a heads up, spamming scan on the same monster nets you less and less points. Also, an alive monster gives you more points than a dead one. Another good use for scanning is finding some ammo or custom parts for guns. You can tell there's goodies around when you see the yellow dot on the lower right corner light up, so the gun does help out in the jam. Lastly, there are also secret handprints hidden throughout the game which only the scanner can find, 30 in all. When you finally set them out, you unlock guns to use for the campaign. Though there are 0 hints in the game of where they are, and there are only a very few you can go back and scan. So if you miss your chance, you're screwed unless you go back on another playthrough and pick up the one you missed. If you're looking for puzzles in this title, there aren't many. There's some move the dots around puzzles and some backtracking to pick up an item here and there, but that's really it. Also, like all Resident Evil games, you get a handy dandy map. Just bring it up and you can see exactly where you need to go if you get lost. You also have diary entries you can find of some of these poor souls' last moments. Being on a boat, there are some swimming sections, and those control perfectly fine. And combat wise, it's just a stick shake away to safety. Though be warned, you can drown, so be sure to stick your head up for some air once in a while. While I did say there is no co-op in the campaign, you can still play with a friend or go it solo in raid mode. There are 18 stages in all with 3 different difficulties. The stages themselves are quick little action missions where you simply make it to the goal point and taking out the onslaught of monsters in your way. The combat here is a bit different as the monsters do have levels, making them tougher. They also can have special attributes like more armor, speed, and even come in different sizes. It's a good way to keep you on your toes and makes raid mode pretty damn challenging. Not to fear as you level up as well. This allows you to use high level equipment you can pick up from fallen monsters and buy from the store with BP points you collect during your raid missions and even the single player. The points you get depend on certain factors like accuracy. There's also the ability to lower your level to score even more points. Don't worry, as you can always turn your level back up and you still level up even though you have a temporary lowered level. You also have your choice of characters to use, each with their own little perks, like more damage and reload speed with certain weapons. More characters become available by doing certain things in raid mode, like reaching a certain level. In the end, it's a pretty damn fun mode, especially if you want to just jump in the game again to shoot some monsters with no interruptions. Being survival horror, the game does give us some good atmosphere. It may not scare the crap out of you, but it's still pretty creepy as you walk through these eerily quiet halls. The abandoned cruise ship has some pretty varied areas, whether you're walking down a dimly lit hallway, inside the guts of the ship, abandoned dining room, and more. We even get a laboratory because Resident Evil. I will have to say, for a 3DS to PS3 port, they did a pretty dang good job. I ran into no framing issues through my playthrough and the character models look fine, besides one having a permanent dirt face model during gameplay. I personally dug the whole grotesque blob thing the monsters have going on. I always look forward to creature designs in my horror games, and this doesn't disappoint. The voice acting for the most part is good, but I will say there are some stilted line deliveries and weird lines in general. The game also gives you more than one voice option. There's French, German, Italian, Spanish, and Japanese. So you have a lot of choices here if you don't like the English dub. There's also a nice little touch is after each chapter you get a previously on video, giving you a nice sum up of what happened if you forgot anything.
Still hurting, cadet?
No, I can still fight.
That's the spirit.
In the end, Resident Evil Revelation is a really good entry into the series, and even better than some of the main entries. Resident Evil 6. While the story is just okay, it does keep your attention enough to see how it turns out. The new faces fit their roles just fine and don't come up as annoying. It was also nice to see Jill and Chris team up again. The gameplay is fun with some nice tense moments and horrifying monsters. While the game only took me 6 to 7 hours to complete, there is another difficulty you can run through, and with a new game plus you can carry all of your equipment over. There's even costumes you can unlock. Then there's a raid mode which you can seek in a lot of time by yourself and with a friend. The cruise ship doesn't wear out its welcome with some nice looking great environments, and again, surprisingly looks good for a 3DS to PS3 port. However, it would have been nice if the characters moved a bit faster or at least had a run button, since you walk pretty dang slow, which could leave you feeling a bit sluggish when things heat up in combat. So hop aboard, as this is one cruise you don't want to miss, even though it's filled with monsters that want to see you dead. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.
Straight into the depths of hell.